roundabout. Fort St. John, Prince George, 97, Alaska Highway. This highway never gets old, no matter how many times you do this road. It's always gonna have something extra for you. We've officially started mile 0. So the highway's been shortened quite a bit, guys, substantially so. They've taken a lot of curves out, straightened it right out. It's fully paved now. At some points it was fully dirt. So this is going to be a lot like the Big Bend, guys. Make sure if you have any stories of the Alaska Highway and stuff you've done on the Alaska Highway, you know, especially older stories before it was paved, before there was services and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking in the 50s there, right? 50s, 60s. Definitely share it. I'd love to hear what it was like back in the day. But it's very similar to the Big Bend. This is a road. It's the best way I could say it. We're going to go to Fort Nelson today. So Taylor, Fort St. John, Fort Nelson. So this Alaska Highway, guys, we came into town this way yesterday. Lots of firemen know. This is what they do here. Grain elevators. It feels very much like Alberta, if I'm honest. I have a hard time noticing that I'm not in Alberta. There's a historic village. We can do this in another time to Dawson. Historic village from back in the day. Cool little installation there. So you can see though, right? Lots of agricultural and farming equipment. Welding shops here. Big place for servicing oil and gas. A lot of oil and gas servicing. Wind farms. Just lots, guys. It's a big place too, Dawson Creek. But the Alaska Highway kind of really made it its thing, right? 480 Fort Nelson. Alrighty, guys, so here we are. We're at the side of the highway. Here we go. It's Alaska Highway, just at the top of a hill here. We're gonna go down. So that was the resource roads I've been talking about. This is a resource road here, RR2. So if you're on your VHF radio, you'd flip to RR2, and that would give you the channel to be in touch with everybody on that road, right? Because it's busy roads here. So that's the Alaska Highway, guys. Nice and paved, fully paved now. Fully paved. It's not the 90s anymore. So yeah, just continuing on. Just on our way to Fort St. John now. We passed Farmton. This first chunk today is going to be fairly, it's not that there's no mountains, there is mountains. Like we go past Pink Mountain and Sekani Chief and stuff like that. But it's a lot more flat. It's kind of like foothills and stuff like this. The Western Sedimentary Basin we're driving through right now. So all of this area in northeast BC is part of the Western Sedimentary Basin. So the interior inland seaway that existed a long time ago, an interior seaway that ran from the Arctic down to Texas there in the Gulf, and there was another seaway that went out towards Hudson Bay, right? Everything was flooded. Things were a lot different, man, like back in the day. Everything's changed, right? Like nothing stays the same in the world. The climate's always changing, the geography's always changing, the geology is always changing. Everything is changing constantly. It's constantly in a state of flux. And it's all relative to, you know, the stars, the moon, the ocean, everything, right? Like, what are we doing? We're going to go see Beringia, guys, the land bridge. That's all about periods of glaciation that lowered the water levels and created the land bridge, which then eventually caused settlement and the migration of species and plants to North America. And so the Western Sedimentary Basin. So it's a bunch of sediment, like layers of stratified sediment that have built up over millions and millions of years, right? Kilometers thick kind of a deal there. And within this sedimentary basin, there's lots of resources, right? There's oil and gas, there's coal, all kinds of stuff. Just the side of the highway here, just some road construction. We're just waiting for the light. Good old red light down there. So just coming down the Taylor Hill here. There's Fort St. John in the distance there. Construction as well going on here. Lots of gas plants too, guys. We're gonna see lots of gas plants coming up now. Oh, flare stacks, nice flare stacks. Oil and gas, guys, huge oil and gas market here. Lots of oil and gas goes on here. Pipeline bridge, aerial pipeline bridge. We're in the middle of a big gas field. Well, several actually, 5 or 6 massive gas fields. The Western Sedimentary Basin. See all the pipeline infrastructure there? Taylor. Here we are, guys. We're in Taylor. Welcome to Taylor. Ooh, it stinks like gas here. Ooh. That would make sense, though. Massive, massive gas field, guys. Huge. Ooh, it reeks of here. You wouldn't want to smoke a cigarette here. Holy. Wow. Stinky stanky. Just about to come into Fort St. John here. So we passed Taylor, we passed the gas plant. You'll see work camps, lots of work trucks, wells, pipelines. When we were over by Tupler Ridge, it was more coal. There was still oil and gas there, the Bull Moose gas plant, Pine River gas plant, but there was coal over there. Alrighty. So we're just leaving Fort St. John. Had some breakfast. The truck had some gas, so we're both fed, charged, ready to go. So yeah, continuing on, guys. This is Fort St. John. Lots of industry here. Truck shops, tractor shops, welding shops, everything, guys. Heavy industry here. Lots of heavy industry. So there's a guy load a low bed with a hoe there. So it's we're gonna continue on the Alaska Highway now. We're back on the highway. TJ's Country Kitchen, by the way, for breakfast, if you're wondering. Great little place. Had an eggs Benny, it's great. So we'll be driving through the Montney gas formation, the shale gas formation, siltstone, dolomitic, siltstone, shale gas formation. One of the bigger gas formations in the world, guys. Trillions of liters of gas. It could supply Canada for another 145 years by itself. So we have an ample supply of fuel to last us for another 145 years. And at that point, if we're still driving cars, I don't know, you tell me, right? It's 145 years from now. So I don't even know what things would look like then. Computers. Imagine what a computer would look like 145 years from now. It's the Western Sedimentary Basin. There was a big inland ocean here. Aquatic marine life would be out in the water, and they would die, and then it would sink to the bottom. And then as it sunk to the bottom, it would just lay on the floor, and then it would get buried in sediment, layers and layers of sediment. And then over time, as that pressure of all the weight is bearing down on that animal matter, that aquatic marine life, the heat and the pressure of it will transform everything into oil and gas, right? That we see. Same thing with coal, guys. The biggest thing for petroleum products is heat and pressure. Coal is formed by heat and pressure. Oil and gas is formed by heat and pressure. The only difference is coal is decayed plant matter. So like a mire or a bog, the ratios of water. It can't be so much water, but it can't be too little water. It's a heat thing. And then oil and gas is aquatic marine life. So let's say an animal dies, floats out into the ocean, sinks, lands on the seabed, and then over many, many thousands of years is covered in sediments, which that heat and pressure causes it to form into the actual products that we use. 1342 to Whitehorse. Just about to come into Wanwan here. More gas fields, gas plants everywhere, guys. Resource roads going off every direction, right, to the gas plants. Basically, there's a work camp in Wanwan. Typical work camp. They're more just like varying degrees of like kind of feeling like prison, but not actually prison because you can't leave. A lot of time there's curfews, quite secure. A lot of them are fenced off. They're quite intense places to work camps. So you make a lot of money, but they're not for everybody, that's for sure. You can see all these truck turning signs, access road number 8 here. There's all these various access roads going off to all different aspects of the operation, right? Like pipelines, like sensor shacks, control shacks, everything, right? It's all going out everywhere. This whole infrastructure of oil fields all around, all through here. So
I don't trust that truck when it gets down like that. That thing drops quick after half.
It's Alaska Highway, mile 101. We're in 101 here. Mile 101. Alaska Highway. But it's basically just 101. It's basically a bunch of work camps, gas station. 101 Lodge. That's the 101 Lodge there. It's the work camp, basically. Yeah, this is 101, guys. Not much here, really, other than support for oil and gas industry, basically. We're back on the road now. Oh, this is glorious, man. There's nobody on the road. Look at it. It's usually busy in the summer, right? It's just like everybody comes from all over the world to drive it. It gets really, really busy and haywire and crazy. But there's nobody on the road. It's like the Big Bend again, right? It's a Big Bend is a deserted highway that nobody uses anymore, but it's just different. Alrighty, guys. Historic mile 148. Suicide Hill. The Pioneer Highway, completed by United States soldiers in 1942, was a rugged, boggy trail that tested the skills and determination of even the most experienced driver. One of the most notorious sections, located just a few miles northeast of here, was given the ominous name Suicide Hill. The original highway veered to the east across the south end of Sekani Chief Flight Strip, built by the Army for surveying aircraft and later construction supply planes. After passing the airstrip, the road climbed to avoid a muskeg bog over which the new highway now runs. Within a short distance, the sign announced Suicide Hill, followed by another more descriptive warning, prepare to meet thy maker. The hill claimed countless vehicles and at least one driver before the highway was rerouted several years later. The original road from the north end of Suicide Hill joins the present highway at historic mile 156. Look at that hill, man. That's insane. That's a big hill. Tucker's Eating Place. Pioneer E.A. Tucker operated trading posts at various locations throughout the north before U.S. troops arrived in the region. When he heard the military was going to push its Pioneer Road across the Beaten River at mile 147, he moved quickly to establish one of the area's first restaurants. So we're coming up on the region where Suicide Hill was, not Suicide Hill itself, but the region that Suicide Hill was in. Alrighty, guys, so we're in Pink Mountain here. Pink Mountain gets its name from the fact that there's a mountain over there. You can't really see it from the town itself, but Pink Mountain, they have these wildflowers that grow on the mountain, and come about June-ish, July, they go into bloom and the whole mountain turns pink. That's why they call it Pink Mountain, basically. And Pink Mountain Lodge is here too. Pink Mountain Lodge is a great place to stay. So this is Pink Mountain, guys. You can drive up to the top and there's a whole bunch of cell phone towers, and it's a really cool vista of the Rockies, but we're not doing the Pink Mountain drive today, unfortunately. You need some time for it. Sasquatch Crossing Hotel, guys. VIP, gym, Wi-Fi. This place is always closed every time I've been here. Just at Sasquatch Crossing here, we're getting close to Bucking Horse River, otherwise known as the Buck. So we'll be doing the Buck pretty soon here, Bucking Horse River. But this is Sasquatch Inn, Sasquatch Crossing. So there's Sasquatch there. Ooh, scary. Alaska Highway. Sasquatch Crossing. This place has always been closed every time I've come through, which is quite sad. It's always been closed. They got a card lock gas station here. They got a Jenny. Sasquatch is famous on the Alaska Highway, guys. There's a lot of Sasquatch sightings here. You'll see a lot of references to Sasquatch as well. So pretty cool, guys. It's a pretty cool trip, I must say. That's the Alaska Highway. We're just continuing on. So we're gonna come up to Sekani Chief next, then the Buck, and then we got Prophet River too. Oh, Prophet River. Woo, the bugs there. big ones. So, but it's a good time of year to do this because there's no bugs, or minimal bugs, I should say. So I got the bug shield on the front there, just in case anything bad happens with the bugs. So yeah, keeping on, moving on. Alrighty guys, so we're just about to come into Sekani Chief here. This was one of the harder bridges that they had building when they built the highway. And the 97 Regiment for the United States, they were the ones that built this bridge, guys. Sekani Chief. All black 97 Regiment. This was their bridge. They built this bridge in 3 days. And then we got the Bucking Horse River, and then Prophet River. And we are going to Fort Nelson. And then after they did all this stuff that was wood timber, they had to hew all the wood timbers themselves. They cut everything down. Impressive, guys. Very, very, very impressive. I'm up on Bucking Horse River, or the Buck, as they like to call it, the locals. Yeah, so the Bucking Horse River fuel service, NEC 176. Yeah, oh yeah. Very good. It's getting more and more remote, guys. There's less and less people on this road as further north we go. It's nice. Although, like I said, if you do this in the summertime, you're going to have traffic. I've seen maybe 3 campers. And fall's coming as well. We're driving into fall. We started down south there. It's still summertime there. So this is the Buck, guys. Bucking Horse River. Another work camp. There's a hotel there. Full service. Full-flown service to Bucking Horse Lodge. And that's Bucking Horse River, guys. Alrighty guys, so Trutch Mountain was named after Joseph W. Trutch. Oh yeah, he built the Alexandria Bridge. A civil engineer and first lieutenant governor of British Columbia. The summit at 1,260 meters, 4,134 feet, was until recently the second highest point. After a steep winding ascent to historic mile 191, the road offered a sweeping panorama of the scenic Monaco River Valley named after the local trapper Glenn Monaco. The Musqueam Range of the Canadian Rockies rise in the distance. The Kawadacha Wilderness Park is about 100 kilometers, 62 miles directly west of there. The summit road was closed in 1987 following completion of the new Trutch Mountain bypass. This begins at mile 176, then cuts through the Monaco River Valley and along the base of the mountain to rejoin the original highway at Beaver Creek, historic mile 225. The small community of Trutch, located at mile 195 just north of the mountain summit, was established by the United States military in the early days of construction. The community later became the headquarters for R. Melville Smith, the only Canadian contractor hired by the U.S. Public Roads Administration. The company was in charge of upgrading 800 kilometers, 500 miles of pioneer military road between Dawson Creek and Liard River Hot Springs. U.S. soldiers remained active in the area throughout the war, manning a military checkpoint, signal corps camp, and a highway maintenance camp at historic mile 201 in the Monaco River Valley. Named after Joseph Trutch, who built the Alexandria Bridge. Alaska Highway. We just passed Bucking Horse. We're on the way to Prophet River, and then Fort Nelson. Owl flew across the road there. Just about hit the owl. Came diving down right straight across the road, perpendicular to the truck there. Just about smoked it at 100. Glad I didn't. One thing to note when you are driving up here, especially near Fort Nelson area, just make sure, guys, that you watch for owls. They'll sleep in the middle of the road sometimes. Like last time I was doing this, there was an owl just sleeping in the middle of the road, middle of the day. Like right now, noon, right? Because they like to sleep in the day. Just be mindful. If you see like some random thing standing on the road, that would be an owl. Be mindful. There's moose, there's deer. I wanted to talk about how they initially built the road. It was built by the Army, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, right, 1942. And when they were, the actual physical process of creating the road was basically, they'd have 4 or 5 bulldozers, all abreast, right, big row, and then, so you get about 100 feet wide of right-of-way. And that first line of bulldozers would knock down the trees and the rocks and all the, like, get the base trail kind of flattened out a little bit, paid. And then there was another line of bulldozers behind it that would kind of grade it down, like to an actual workable grade and stuff. And then there was another group behind that would come and grade out the road and smooth it out, make it nice. But the thing is that when the Army did it, they were just doing it as a means to get to Alaska so that Alaska would not be cut off from the rest of North America. So a lot of the bridges they built were just wooden bridges. They weren't, it was just so they could get over the river, right? It wasn't meant for a permanent fixture. So then they contracted a bunch of civilian companies to like smooth the road out, rebuild some of the bridges, basically kind of develop the highway a little bit more, because the Army was just there to get the trail done, get it to Alaska, because they were really worried, guys, when World War II broke out, Pearl Harbor, at least when that's when it broke for America. They were really concerned about Japan invading and taking the Aleutian Islands. And there was Dutch Harbor. We're going to go to Dutch Harbor at some point, but, you know, siege and stuff up in the Aleutians. So that kind of instigated the talks between Canada and America to build this road. It's an arterial link across North America, right? Dawson Creek to Fairbanks. There's a lot of communities in the way, so it would make invading North America much easier because you have road transportation for your troops and stuff. So what they did was they purposely built it in the interior of the continent. That's why Dawson Creek is the beginning of the highway. They didn't want to pick like Prince Rupert, that's like right on the coast, because there wasn't a geographical security. Whereas here you've got more of a geographical security with where your location, the mountains and everything, right? You're not getting that here, right? So that's why they built it all the way out this way. And it was key, guys. It was key to supplies, and ever since it's been built, it's been used by truckers. Some truckers, that's all they do. They just drive the Alaska Highway. Like, it's funny to think that if they hadn't necessitated it, it would have never been built, because there was talks before about them setting it up. And, like, Canada talked about the highway, and then they were like, I don't really see the point of it. And then the Americans, and they kind of went back and forth a bunch of different times, like thinking about the highway, and stuff like, well, maybe I'll build it, maybe I won't. They weren't really entirely sure. But then when the war came, there was no question. That was it. That was what they were doing. But the other reason it goes through Dawson Creek is it follows the Northwest Staging Route, a series of airstrips going from Edmonton all the way up to Alaska, starting in Edmonton, Dawson Creek, Fort St. John, Fort Nelson, Smith River airstrip, Watson Lake, Whitehorse, and then up into Alaska. They wanted the highway to follow the Northwest Staging Route because it would make flying material in and then transporting it by road to various different locations a much easier process. But the Northwest Staging Route runs along here, what we're running along right now. Alrighty guys, Adsaid Creek realignment. Countless tales have been told over the years about the winding route of the original Alaska Highway. There are still sections that would make you wonder what the surveyors were thinking about when plotting the original course. The portion between here and Jackfish Creek in the north used to be one such section. Until crews completed a major rerouting of this part in 1992, there were an amazing 132 curves within 56 kilometers, or 35 miles. There have been many different theories put forward as to why the original highway was so crooked. One of the most repeated is that it was a defensive strategy. If Japanese fighter planes flew over, they couldn't strafe a crooked road. The reason, as is often the case, was quite mundane. It was a matter of expediency. The task was to punch the road through as quickly as possible. Given the miles of muskeg, lakes, and mountains, the easiest and fastest way was not always the straightest. Today, the driving distance between Dawson Creek and Fairbanks, Alaska is approximately 56 kilometers shorter. This is the road as it is now. And then look, this is what it used to be. Look how crooked it is. Right here, NWHS, Adsaid Creek, Highway Realignment, mile 234. On the road, about an hour and 30 out of Fort Nelson here, coming up on kilometer 300 on the Alaska Highway. So, hope you guys are enjoying it. I certainly am. I'm in heaven, man. This is my happy place up here. Just in Prophet River here. Just Adsid Creek realignment. Just following the highway. We got about an hour to go to Fort Nelson. Downtown Fort Nelson, gateway to the Rockies here. It's hot here, 18 degrees. It's pretty good. Considering we're almost at 60 here, but it's fall here for sure, guys. Wasn't fall down south, but it's fall here. So anyways, like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified. And Sasquatch Prospector out.